Okay, we've been learning about making inferences. There are two things we need to do to make an inference. What's one of the things we need to have? Schema plus what else? Isaiah?
Clues from the text and pictures.
Clues from the words and the pictures from our story. We put those two together and we can do an inference or a guess about what the author is talking about when the author doesn't tell us something. So one of my favorite books is called Two Bad Ants. And you have to use a lot of inferences in here to decide what the author is talking about. I don't know who that is banging on their desk, but please stop. Okay, so Two Bad Ants. Oh my goodness. Trying to get the page. Okay. The news traveled swiftly through the tunnels of the ant world. A scout had returned with a remarkable discovery, a beautiful sparkling crystal. When the scout presented the crystal to the ant queen, she took a small bite, then quickly ate the entire thing. She deemed it the most delicious food she had ever tasted. Nothing could make her happier than to have more, much more. The ants understood. They were eager to gather more crystals because the queen was the mother of them all. Her happiness made the whole ant nest a happy place. So they had discovered this crystal. They needed to go get more. It was late in the day when they departed. Long shadows stretched over the entrance to the ant kingdom. One by one the insects climbed out, following the scout, who had made it clear there were many crystals where the first one had been found. But the journey was going to be long and dangerous. They marched into the woods that surrounded their underground home. Dusk turned to twilight, twilight to night, and the path they followed twisted and turned, every bend leading them deeper into the dark forest. More than once the line of ants stopped and anxiously listened for the sounds of hungry spiders. But all they heard was a call of crickets echoing through the woods like distant thunder. Dew formed on the leaves above. Without warning, huge cold drops fell on the marching ants. A firefly passed overhead that for an instant lit up the woods with a blinding flash of blue-green light. At the edge of the forest stood a mountain. The ants looked up and could not see its peak. It seemed to reach right to the heavens. But they did not stop. Up the side they climbed, higher and higher. The wind whistled through the cracks of the mountain's face. The ants could feel its force bending their delicate antennae. Their legs grew weak as they struggled upward. At last they reached a ledge and crawled through a narrow tunnel. So the ants see a mountain. Okay, is it really a mountain? Okay, what do we infer that this really is? What do you infer that this is, Chase? A brick wall. I infer that it's a brick wall. What was my evidence? What's my evidence that I know that this is a brick wall? What's my evidence, Grant? It has bricks. I see bricks. All right, the pictures are our evidence, aren't they? I see bricks. Okay, so that's one thing we had to infer already, that the mountain was really a brick wall. When the ants came out of the tunnel, they found themselves in a strange world. Smells they had known all their lives, smells of dirt and grass and rotting plants, had vanished. There was no more wind, and most puzzling of all, it seemed that the sky was gone. They crossed smooth, shiny surfaces, then followed the scout up a glassy, curved wall. They had reached their goal. From the top of the wall, they looked below to a sea of crystals. One by one, the ants climbed down into the sparkling treasure. Quickly, they chose a crystal, then turned to start the journey home. There was something about this unnatural place that made the ants nervous. In fact, they left in such a hurry that none of them noticed the two small ants who stayed behind. "Why go back?" one asked the other. "This place may not feel like home, but look at all these crystals." "You're right," said the other. "We can stay here and eat this tasty treasure every day forever." So the two ants ate crystal after crystal until they were too full to move, and they fell asleep. I wonder what the crystals are. What do we think? What do we think the crystals might be, Kate? Okay, so Kate thinks maybe rice. What do you think it is, Gracie? Diamonds. What do you think it is, Sydney? Glass. What do you think it is, Isaiah? Sugar. Okay, what do you think, Grant? Ice. Okay, I think that's enough guesses. Okay, why do you think it's rice? Who said rice? Kate, why do you think it's rice? Okay, so she's looking at pictures and it kind of looks like rice. Okay, why do you think it's diamonds? Okay, yeah, so the drawing looks like diamonds. Okay, why do we think it's glass? Okay, because glass is white like that. Okay, what about sugar? Who said sugar? Why do you think it's sugar?
Because it's real tiny and it's white.
Okay, and why do you think it's ice?
Because it looks hard.
It looks hard. Okay, so there was one clue in here that will take some of these ideas out. It says, we can say here, and eat this tasty treasure every day. So they can eat it and it's tasty. Can we eat rice?
Yes.
Can we eat diamonds? No, it says not diamonds. Can we eat glass? No. Can we eat sugar?
Yes.
Can we eat ice?
Yes.
Yes, so we know it's tasty and you can eat it. So we're still stuck on rice, sugar, and ice. But I think we're going to have some other clues that will tell us which one it is. Okay, no, we're going to move on. There's going to be more. Daylight came. The sleeping ants were unaware of changes taking place in their newfound home. A giant silver scoop hovered above them, then plunged deep into the crystals. It shoveled up both ants and crystals and carried them high into the air. The ants were wide awake when the scoop turned, dropping them from a frightening height. They tumbled through space in a shower of crystals and fell into a boiling brown lake. Wonder what this brown lake. Okay, it's broiling. Broiling means hot, right? Okay. Then the giant scoop stirred violently back and forth. Crushing waves fell over the ants. They paddled hard to keep their tiny heads above water, but the scoop kept spinning the hot brown liquid. So it's hot. Okay, it's hot. Try and think what else I heard. It's brown. Okay, it's liquid. Yep. Okay. Around and around it went, creating a whirlpool that sucked the ants deeper and deeper. They both held their breath and finally bobbed to surface, gasping for air and spitting mouthfuls of terrible, bitter water. It's bitter. Bitter means it's not sweet. Now, another clue that would help us with this that I know that we could use is it said daylight came. So now we're in the morning. Okay, so what do you think this brown lake could be? What could this brown lake be, Chase?
Coffee.
He thinks coffee. What do you think, Heather? Hot chocolate. It could be any one of those. Now, why would there be this silver scoop? What is this silver scoop? What is this silver scoop, Alyssa? A spoon. So what would they be dumping into this? That looks like crystals. What would they be dumping, Lily? Sugar. So that's what my crystals are. They put a spoonful of it into a drink. Now, would you put a spoonful of sugar in hot chocolate or a spoonful of sugar into coffee?
Coffee.
Well, chocolate's already sweet. Hot chocolate. Or tea, but tea would not be that brown, I don't think. It could be tea. I don't think it's hot chocolate because I don't normally put a spoonful of sugar in my hot chocolate. So it's probably coffee or tea. Boiling hot liquid. We'll see. Waterfall, waterfall. All right, then the lake tilted and began to empty into a cave. What is a cave? Cave was a mouth. Yeah, how do you know it's a mouth? How do you know, Grant?
There's a nose.
Yeah, I see a nose, and I see lips, and I see a mustache. Yeah, it's probably a man. Yeah, I'm trying to see the eyes. Okay, the ants swam. Shh. The ants could hear the rushing water and felt themselves pulled toward the pitch black hole. Suddenly the cave disappeared and the lake became calm. The ants swam to the shore and found that the lake had steep sides. They hurried down the walls that held back the lake. The frightened insects looked for a place to hide, worried that the giant scoop might shovel them up again. Close by they found a huge round disc with holes that could nearly hide them. Okay, we're going to pause here for a second.